Hello, I'm Joe, looking out the office window and thinking about all sorts of stuff, as usual, and parties. Now, some parties, people say, I'm having a bit of a get-together, would you like to come along? And you're like, yeah, I'll be there. And some parties you have to go to, like Aunt Agnes's 85th birthday party in the nursing home, which you know is not going to be a laugh riot, but you've always loved great Aunt Agnes, and so you're going to go, and you'll put on your slapping lippy and a decent frock and make a good show of it. Some parties just you need to avoid. Stag and hen parties, for the most part, especially if they say things like weekend in Newquay or we're going to Ibiza, you know, you want danger pay. Or like my friend Joe across the way, who had a sort of a Halloween party, and you knew, should have known better. It was one of those parties when suddenly you hear a voice saying, has anybody else ever done a tequila suicide? And another voice says, what's a tequila suicide? And then suddenly you realise it's your voice saying, well, you snort the salt, down the tequila and squeeze the lime in your eye. You know that's time to go home. But there's two parties that, please, have nothing to do with. And this is just my personal opinion, but the first one is the Pity Me party. And the problem with Pity Me parties is you never know you're being invited to one, so you're sat comfortably and suddenly you think, oh my God. And you then spend an hour and a half listening to somebody tell you all their woes and troubles. And you realise you're the only guest there because they pissed everybody else off and nobody will come anymore. And you fall into the trap of trying to make helpful suggestions and having to listen to why that will never work. So, you know, if you got friends, they will warn you. And if you're smart, you'll listen to them. But if you find yourself at a Pity Me party, it's very difficult to extradite yourself politely, but you really must try. And the next time that person invites you, you'll know better. But the other sort of party I think we all need to avoid are political parties. And I don't care if you're red, blue, green, orange, pink, purple, tie-dyed, rainbow. I don't care. I don't care if you're left of centre, right of centre, in the centre, on the moon, floating on your cloud. I don't care. Because what worries me is, and we're seeing it a lot in America at the moment, and by the way, America, people around the world are not seeing this so much as an election, as an IQ test. And right now, you're qualifying for a window seat on the short bus. It doesn't look good. But if you align yourself to one particular party, that means that you're basically saying, I don't want to have to think about the issues, somebody else is going to tell me. And once you tie yourself to a political party, it means you can't see the other point of view because you have to take up that party's line. And people say, oh, well, you can change it from within. No, you can't. Look at all the rebels in both sides of the Houses of Parliament who've got nowhere. You know, so it worries me that people, I mean, I know people who say, well, I vote Labour. And it's like, well, why do you vote Labour? Well, my father voted Labour. Well, why did he vote Labour? His father voted Labour. And you just think, hang on. So the only reason you vote for a particular party instead of the candidate or the issues in your area is because your family always has? So wise up, people. And I know that sounds patronising, but please, I'm talking to the people who don't think about these things, who just toe the party line. You know, make decisions and choices based not on who your grandfather voted for and what colour party they voted for, but on who will do the best job for you. And maybe that way, if people started voting like that, we'd get governments that really care about us instead of themselves. That was very deep and meaningful, and now I'm going to go have a lie down in a dark corner with a damp flannel on my head.